Hello, good evening. My name is Elias Munshya. I'm coming live to you from Calgary, Alberta, from our offices here at Munshya Law. I'm very glad that you could join me. I'm going to give you a few minutes to share as much as possible, and then we're going to get started. Please share as much as possible. If you are on YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are on Facebook, please do not forget to subscribe to our Facebook, to like our Facebook page. We are happy with our numbers right now on Facebook, but of course we know that we could do more. And so we are seeking more subscribers and more likes. Thank you very much for joining us. I do have some comments already that I will be reading and going through. But if you want to join me on this, I'm just copying and pasting the link that you can use right now. Yeah, there it is. That's the link that you can use. Someone is talking about volume, but I think volume should just be fine. So let me verify that volume is okay. I think volume is okay. It should just be fine. So very excited that you could join us today. We have a lot to talk about. And of course, we are going to predominantly use English, but once in a while, we're going to throw in a little bit of Bemba and some touch of Ushi here and there. Because we cannot do without Bemba. Okay, so the things that we are talking about are very, very dear to my heart today. So let's get started. A few weeks ago, I came to Zambia. I was in Chiwempala, and I had a sick Mayosenge. She wasn't feeling too well. And she told me that she had been to the public hospitals, Chiwempala Clinic, for those that know Chiwempala, and to Chawama Clinic as well, where I was born, right very close to Chavanyama, there in Chiwempala. It's known as Chawama Clinic. That's where I was born. And Mayosenge told me that there are no medications in hospital. She had a little bit of an infection, but there were no medicines. So the nurses were there to take care of her quite all right. The doctors saw her, but they could not give her any medication. The reason was there is no medication at Chawama Clinic, and there is no medication at Chiwempala Clinic. Mwishuko nicho, we could put together a few kwachas here and there so that we could get medicine at least from a private pharmacy or whatever it is. So there are a lot of prescriptions, but there is no medication. What is happening in Chiwempala, at Chawama Clinic, at Chiwempala Clinic, and several other clinics in Zambia is true for much of the country. Be it in Usakile, in Chamboli, in Kamenza, in Chirilabombwe, all these clinics. In fact, even the new clinics that President Lungu claims to have built, little clinics along the way. I was in Milenge and I did see several of these structures. They're calling them healthcare centers. But something that is lacking in all this infrastructure they claim to have built is that there are no medicines in hospital. So when our people are sick, they can be attended to, but they cannot be given medicine. Quite all right, some of our people can afford to go to a pharmacy and purchase the medication, but most of us can't. And the reason why that is happening is because there is mismanagement from government. Just yesterday, we had heard that the Ministry of Health had given a $17 million drug contract to a company known as Honeybee. That explains why there is a shortage of medicines across clinics and hospitals in Zambia. Shortage, huge shortage. There are no medicines. And the reason why there are no medicine is simple. It is because that company that President Lungu hired to supply medicines to Zambia stole the money and supplied substandard medications. The company name is known as Honeybee. This is not a new story. The Honeybee story is not new. It's not something that is just coming up now. News diggers did several stories last year and alerted the country to the abuse that was going on at the Ministry of Health. Diashidikaya, we know exactly what has been happening. It is not new. The fact that the parliament is now debating it does not make it new at all. We have known for a very long time that there has been abuse and theft at the Ministry of Health. Not only at the Ministry of Health, but the entire Lungu government. There has been all these thefts and mismanagement of resources. That is why there are no medicines across the country, which should be a concern to all of us as Zambians. There is a lot that is being said about this company. Some right now are saying that this company, Honeybee, is the one to blame. It is this company that obtained a contract and failed to deliver. There are talks that somehow the government should be excused, the minister should be excused, and the president should be excused. We have looked at the directors and the people who registered this company and the owners of this company. We have found that the president's closest collaborator is not a government official, but you can see him on pictures with the president, doing joggings, running, and everything else, and even chatting, having a great time. This particular gentleman is the owner of Honeybee Company. Therefore, it is quite confusing. How can the president not know about this gentleman when the owner of this company is the president's closest friend? They drink together, they eat together, they exercise together, and they even travel together. All this evidence put together simply demonstrates one simple fact. The President Edgar Lungu knows exactly what has been happening with Honeybee. May I go further and make this allegation that Honeybee is just a front that the president has used to steal from the poor people of Zambia. He is the one who has orchestrated this daylight theft from the people of Zambia. The gentleman, his friend, who registered this company only did it as a front for the president to hide behind and perpetrate this fraud on the Zambian people. There is no way that the president's closest friend can win this tender at the Ministry of Health and supply substandard medicines and steal money from the people of Zambia without the knowledge of the president. Therefore, for those that are condemning anybody else, this is what I am telling you today. The one who owns this Honeybee contract is President Edgar Lungu. He's the one who knows about it. And this is the reason why all this theft continues in the Ministry of Health. It's because it is orchestrated by the president himself. It is his problem. It is his issue. He is the one who is doing all these things and perpetrating all these things on the Zambian people. And so we have noticed what has been happening, and we have seen it. And this is the only conclusion that we can draw. Honeybee Company was incorporated not very long ago, a few days before it won the tender to supply $17 million medication. We understand that the Zambia Medical Regulatory Authority gave Honeybee Company the license to deliver medication, the license to deal in pharmaceuticals. within days of its incorporation. And this particular government agency sat on the weekend to give this license to this new company. There is only one conclusion that we can draw out of it. It's that it is the big person himself who was heavily involved in the formation of this company and in this company's act to perpetrate a fraud on the people of Zambia. We refuse this idea that this company just did it on its own. That is the reason why the president has not acted to now. Today, he has not done anything about it. It's not important. It is because he is part of the fraud and the rot that is taking place at the Ministry of Health. We have been saying that there is something wrong with the Ministry of Health. Money has been misapplied and it has been stolen. The president has never acted. There is only one reason why he has never acted. It's because he can't act, because he's in on it. He's part of the problem. The president is not a solution to the problems that we are having as a country. The president is the problem to the problems that we are having as a country. And so as far as Honeybee is concerned, he is the one who is responsible for it. And I challenge any Patriotic Front supporter right now. I challenge you, Patriotic Front supporters. Look at the lack of medication in our hospitals. Look at the mismanagement that is happening all over. You cannot tell me that all this mismanagement is just some other people that are doing it, that we should be blaming somebody else. This blame lies squarely on the laps of President Edgar Lungu, and he cannot tell us otherwise. Honeybee got $17 million contract. Apparently, this contract was cleared by my friend, that's what he says, the Attorney General of Zambia. It means that then that they took a package of this company and they reviewed the contract that Honeybee used. How can a company born within days be able to get a $17 million contract? A company that has no history with supplying pharmaceuticals. No wonder why it stole the money. No wonder why this particular company supplied substandard medicines. And we understand that even the condoms themselves, it supplied substandard condoms. It's very pathetic. It's unjust. You can never justify this. Substandard condoms, they distributed to the people of Zambia. This is inexcusable. This is murder. This is confusion. This is the greatest fraud that has been perpetrated against the people of Zambia. What should we do about it? Zambians should continue talking about it. Zambians should let the president know that Zambians know that it is the president who has perpetrated this fraud. That's the thing. A few weeks ago, a few months ago, if not a year, Zambia bought 42 fire trucks at $1 million apiece. That story has died a natural death. Everything continued on as if everything was normal. $1 million per fire truck. It was a fraud that was perpetrated on the people of Zambia. The president did not act because the president can't act. He's a very weak leader, one. But he's also a weak leader who apparently, allegedly, pockets part of the money from all these shoddy contracts. We cannot say that everything happens without his knowledge. If these things were happening without his knowledge, why hasn't the president acted? It's simple. On the 42 million fire trucks, why didn't the president act? On the 17 million Honeybee scandal, why hasn't the president acted? Why hasn't the president fired the Minister of Health, who is a thief, very clearly? Dr. Chitalu Chilufya is a thief, is a fraud. He has stolen from the people of Zambia, and the president cannot fire him because, just like I have always explained, Banwanankwe, balya nankwe n'okwiba kwine beba nankwe. This therefore brings me to this issue. The reason why there are all these shoddy companies supplying things to the government and stealing is because of what is known as the Presidential Empowerment Fund. The Presidential Empowerment Fund is a private slush fund that President Lungu has. This private slush fund is not subject to parliament at all. It's not part of the government. It's President Lungu's special money. And we ask, where does President Lungu get the money that he stashes in the Presidential Empowerment Fund? I've got an answer for you. He obtains it from well-wishers. And who are the well-wishers? The owners of Honeybee, the paper owners of Honeybee, the people who supplied the 42 million fire trucks, and several other corrupt elements that are doing business with the government of Zambia. Those are the people that give President Lungu the money that he stashes in the Presidential Empowerment Fund. It is daylight robbery on the people of Zambia. And I challenge every citizen of our country to tell the president that you know about what is happening, that you know that this is the theft that is going on, that you know about the mismanagement that is going on, and you are not going to take it lying down. That you are not going to just let it pass and say, no, it is okay for this thing to happen. There is no way Honeybee can steal $17 million without the knowledge of our political leaders. Impossible. There is no way a company that is registered days before it wins a tender can go ahead to perpetrate this kind of fraud on the people of Zambia without our political leaders being in on it. There is no way that this company can obtain the license from the Zambia Medical Regulatory Authority without our political leaders being in on it. And so there is only one conclusion that we can draw from all this evidence that we have. And the conclusion is that the problem with Honeybee lies squarely at the doors of State House. It is President Lungu's problem. If ifire teka ba Lungu, tefyo bateke chalo yo, tefyo bateke chalo. And that is where the problem is. Now, we understand that the president traveled to the Copperbelt today. He took coronavirus to the Copperbelt. Now, I'm not saying that the president himself carries corona. No, what I'm saying is that the practices and the several people that travel with him using Zambia Air Force helicopters, they might, by chance, take some of this corona over to Chililabombwe. So they were in Chililabombwe, and today he has been posting on Facebook about the plan that he suddenly has about the miners on the Copperbelt. Now, I did talk about KCM the other time. Let me address KCM once more. I come from Chingola, from the mining town, from Kopala. What President Lungu is saying about KCM and about mines is not making sense. Here are the questions that I have for the president. Question number one. He says that he is going to now put KCM in the hands of Zambians. It sounds very populist and good, but that is what it is. It is only sounding that way. Currently, the Zambian government and ZCCM Investment Holdings has shares in every mine in Zambia. They're minority shares. And they have representation on every board of every mining company in Zambia. So the Zambian government does have a seat on the KCM board, on the Mopani board, on the Kansenshi board, on the First Quantum board. All these mining companies, ZCM Investment Holdings does have a seat on those boards. And some of them, I understand, they are now, the seats are going to be held by the IDC. And some of those seats are going to be held directly by the Minister of Finance. Here is the question. The problem that is happening with the mining companies right now, it is not because the mines are in the hands of foreign companies. That is not a problem. The problem is that our ruling party is stealing from the very mining companies. That is the main problem. Here is the reason. We own those mines. They are in Zambia. They are in our country. The Minister of Finance and the Minister of Mines have themselves said that they have no record of how much copper we are exporting. That these companies, they have no record of how much copper they are exporting. They have no record of how much KCM or Vedanta was exporting outside the country. We ask them, what are they doing on the boards of these companies? How come Vedanta can mine copper from Chingola, transport it to London, and our government has no idea how much copper is being exported in our own country? Here is the problem. The problem is not with these mining companies. The problem is with the structure of our parastatal companies. The fact that there is too much political interference in the parastatal companies. So, you cannot solve the problem that we have currently by making parastatals, by making more parastatals, or by repossessing KCM and put it in the hands of Zambian companies. Because if you did that, it will just increase the level of corruption. This government is not disciplined enough to follow the chain of production this time when we have minority shares. What tells us, what convinces us that once this government begins running these mines, then there's going to be a better reporting structure? There's not going to be a better reporting structure. There is not going to be any difference in the fundamental structures of how these parastatals are created. It is going to lead to the same problems. And the same problem is the leadership problem, the same political problem. Now, President Lungu now is speaking using a populist tone, saying that no, he's now going to do something different, more than he has done in the past. It is all stories. He has failed to run the country. He has failed to hold these companies accountable. He has failed to account for the wealth of our nation. And now he seems to be suggesting that, no, just give me more powers, I'll be able to control. When you have all the power as a president, when you have ZRA that can track where the copper is going, when you have customs officers that can inspect and tell you how much is going, when you have office of the president that you can plant right in the plant itself, and they can report to you everything that is happening every day. And today you tell us that no, you only be able to do much better if everything becomes government controlled. The reason why this president wants government control of everything is because he wants to be a dictator. He has no plan for the economic growth of our country, and so he begins ukusabaira. Ichiri chonse chaisa mumano kusabaira kula landa fye without a plan. To my people in Chingola, anger is not a plan. Obukali tufirire munsenga, it's not a plan. What we need right now is rational thought process and planning about our wealth. It is not a knee-jerk reaction that unsettles the growth of our economy. The Zambian economy during the Kaunda days was about $3 billion. During Chiluban privatization, this economy has grown to become $20 billion economy. It has been growing. The fundamentals were strong. We sacrificed a lot to be where we are as a country. After President Lungu comes into power, he borrows $20 billion more and has stolen much of it. And then today he says that the problem is the fact that all these things are in private mining, in private hands. Currently, there is no law that prohibits our Zambian entrepreneurs to buy shares into the mines or to be able to run the mines. But what President Lungu is talking about is nationalization. He wants to spread government inefficiency into private businesses, into mining industry. So the same efficiency that is happening at the Ministry of Health, it's the same inefficiency that is going to spread to all mining companies. And therefore, the problem is that we are going to have huge liabilities more than assets. We are just going to be growing our debt without a plan to repay it. We are going to grow government payroll, how many people government will be paying, without a plan of how we are actually going to restock our coffers. That is how dangerous what President Lungu is saying. So what Chitalu Chilufya is doing at the Ministry of Health, it means then that Musukwa will be doing it at the Ministry of Mines. It will all be government. All workers will be government. That is how our economy tanks and returns back to the Kaunda days. What is wrong with how the economy has been growing in the past? Why should President Lungu suddenly suggest this idea, brilliant idea, of going back to the Kaunda days so that we have a contracted economy, a controlled economy, an economy that is controlled by the patriotic front rather than by common business sense? We cannot agree to what President Lungu is saying. It is not making sense. He is trying to exploit the anger of our people without a plan. That is inexcusable. He's now saying that what he has done with KCM, he is not going to change his mind. Here is a question. What, the Honeybee, has he done with KCM? This is what he's posting right now on Facebook. He says that what he has done with KCM is irreversible. Here is my question. What, the Honeybee, has he done with KCM? Let's ask everybody, what is happening at KCM? Some are saying it's a reorganization. If it's a reorganization, why can't he say that it is a reorganization? It's not a reorganization. Okay. Is it nationalization? If it's a nationalization, why can't he just say that he has nationalized KCM? Instead, KCM now is in a private individual, one person, not subject to any board. One person known as Midingo Lungu is the one who owns KCM at the moment. While KCM is making losses, Midingo Lungu is winning. Midingo Lungu must be paid, even when KCM makes losses. How was Midingo Lungu appointed? Is that action to safeguard the wealth of our people? No, it is not about safeguarding the wealth of Chingola. It is about safeguarding the wealth of President Lungu and his friends. President Lungu looks out only for his political party and for very close friends. That's it. He doesn't care about the people of Chingola, because if he cared about the people of Chingola, first of all, he was going to directly tell us what he is doing with KCM. How can 2 years after the so-called liquidation of KCM, we still do not know what the Honeybee is going on at KCM? Ask the workers of KCM, what is going on? What is Midingo Lungu's role? Now Midingo Lungu is saying that he's going to split KCM into two. Where does he derive the authority to do so? This is just an opportunity to steal. That's how it is. Because it is not making rational sense, first of all. It's not making business sense either. It's not even making legal sense at the least. So he's not going to reverse anything at KCM. The only thing that will happen is that we as Zambians, taxpayers, are going to lose a lot of money. He has to borrow more money in order to clean up the mess that he has created at KCM. KCM right now is surviving because the government is underwriting it. What is the government using to underwrite KCM? It's debt. In Congole, Kaloba. Every month they are sending millions of kwacha to go and pay workers at KCM. If he's saying that he has reorganized it, let him tell us the plan. Show us the plan. The other thing with KCM is that for it to survive where it is now, it has been defrauding other suppliers to it. One of these suppliers is CEC. So CEC will go down, okay? It's almost insolvent. having a very difficult time because KCM has not paid power to CEC. These are the things that are making it appear like KCM is still there and is still strong and everything else. It's because of government. Now there is no plan. The longer we take, the more indebted we become as far as KCM is concerned. And the president is making it worse. So he can say whatever he says during this particular time, but we know that he has no plan. He has run out of ideas. That is why he's doing what he's doing with the miners. And I'm concerned because the Mine Workers Union of Zambia used to be a union that would speak for the workers, that would speak for the Copperbelt. It was a strong voice. It was not compliant with government. It was not in bed with government. The Mine Workers Union of Zambia was a strong voice for the workers of our country. Today, it has been turned into a bedfellow of Mr. Lungu and saluting Mr. Lungu for the kind of nonsense that he has wrote on the Copperbelt. There is no one who should take this blame. It is the president himself because of his lack of leadership and lies about the economy. Where has he been all along when the Copperbelt has been through all these problems? Where has been his board members that sit on these companies? Where has been an audit trail of the wealth that these companies are mining? And today we should say that it is these companies that are a problem. These multinational companies only just want to come and make a few dollars out of every country. It is up to you as owners of the country to make sure that they are in line. The Patriotic Front has not been doing that. Instead, the Patriotic Front has been conniving with these very companies to defraud the people of Zambia. The other time, First Quantum and Kansanshi, was it Kansanshi? ZCCM tried to get the money from Kansanshi. ZCCM, they tried to do it. How did that work out? The government intervened and stopped ZCCM from intervening in that dispute. Today, that dispute has died a natural death. And who has been enriched? President Lungu and a cadre of his friends. And today, you are telling me that this gentleman has care for the people of Chingola, for the people of Kitwe, for the people of Chirilabombwe. He has no plan. He has run out of ideas. The best thing that we can do is to have the model that we have at the moment, very similar to the Botswana model, and strengthen the chain of production. Make sure that board members that represent the government of the Republic of Zambia, they do their job while these companies are being run by these companies. The reason why we must have these foreign companies run is so that you shift risk from the government of Zambia to these foreign companies. How do you shift risk? Instead of the government of Zambia underwriting the liabilities that come out of mining, you let these companies do it. You as a government, your role is just to be there to tighten all the controls to ensure that when there is a production, you can track it so that this company does not come to you and tell you that it is making losses. How can you as government, a company that we are making losses, and yet you are there? Now, which that transport, that transport to copper from Chingola to Lusaka and then from Lusaka to Johannesburg, Yayana to London. Nama board members, Bantu Veno, Elo Lelo, Ubuteko, Wisabutueva, it has no idea of the kind of money that these companies were making. They knew how much these companies were making. They connived with these companies in order to steal from the people of Zambia and then appear like they care for the people of Zambia. If this government means business, let it tighten the controls. Let it tell us the audit of all the copper that has been driven on those substandard roads. Let them tell us. Because the copper was passing through there to go to Lusaka, to go to South Africa, to go to wherever. That is our copper. How can this president say that no, it's because of these companies? Nicho bafiru woku teka nomba kula sonta fie. uwa watabulaka beposha nomba kula bepeshafye ati yo mkwaiteine ati nani ati teine ati we lungu monefire chitika ati teine weka teka kabiri teiwe. Let these companies, let them assume the risk. Let them come and make their own business analysis. Gawapanga ile business analysis and business plan. Elo imwench to kuchta fetaite na mo controls and taxing. That's it. You let these companies run. Now mkwatama representative on the board as a government. That's it. And then your next job is what? Taxing. And just telling these companies to say, you employ Zambians and everything. And we'll be taxing. We'll be making money. Tuakula swam of that will be our role. While we concentrate on delivering medicines to the people of Zambia, delivering ifyakudia, delivering emiti, making abena Zambia kumfwino. You know what I mean? Nabena bena Zambia bale umfwa kwa manone. That is the role of government. That is what is supposed to be happening. But no. They are saying that these companies are the ones that have a problem. I can never say that these companies are the ones that have a problem. Muchalo chesu. How do they become a problem? Of course we are there. It's because when they do this, the Patriotic Front connives with them, allows them to steal, allows them to do all these things. That's why we cannot agree with what the president is currently saying. Mining, of course, takes a lot of investment. So you know, whenever they are coming to make money in Zambia, you are using them to make more money. That is how rich nations behave. Let's take the Chinese model. Bakwet. Ababe inama Chinese tuya komuku Kongola every day. What is the model that has made them rich? They used multinational companies in their country. How did China become rich? China did not become rich just by its own company. No. It opened its doors, brought multinational companies to China, taxed these multinational companies and told them every product that gets out of our country must be written made in China. Provided employment to their people. China did not begin by insulting these foreign investors. No. China just knew what it needed to do. Tighten the chain. That's it. Apple, one of the biggest companies, Apple, makes everything it makes in China. Its headquarters is in the US. The Chinese are not insulting Apple. The Chinese have just known to control, to tighten. That's it. They just say, any person who appears before Apple releases an iPhone 12, any person in China who tries to imitate an iPhone 12 before Apple releases it, it's a jail. It's economic espionage. It's economic sabotage from the Chinese law perspective. And here in Zambia, we have a president whose specialization is ngafirwa kwamba konombo kusonta okufwaya uwakuvepesha ate ulengero ko bati mfirwe iyo ufirirwe ni lungo. Leadership matters. Anger is not a strategy. Tufirire munsenga can never help our country. It can't. What we need is a sober leadership. That is what we need. Steady leadership. A leadership that would not steal. A leadership that would not deliberately supply substandard condoms. So that abantu bakwate unnecessary and planned for babies. Nokulwala balwale. Elo, after you do ama condoms after you do all those condoms, na fake medicines. And today you want to tell us that you have got a plan for this country. And we shouldn't talk. The reason why we are talking, it's because we must rebut the lies that comes from the mouth of President Lungu. Some of you say, but why should you be talking so much over President Lungu? It's because he has an entire machinery that can easily spread fake news and lies and propaganda. It's only independent minds like me and several others that are able to push back and say, yo mkwai, if you muleland about KCM, hufi, mulebepa. And let the people of Chingola know that there is a better plan over our minds. But what President Lungu has is not a plan. It's nothing. There is nothing. There is no plan. He says that he's still concerned about KCM. Here is the question. What is the status of KCM today? What is going on with KCM today? He has no answer. What is it? He has given it to his friend, Miringo Lungu. That's all it is. Now, while he's in Chilirabombwe, we understand that the Zambia Air Force has decided to close the Copperbelt airspace. Today, Hagainde Hichilema, somebody I've met before, and I've been to his house, very good house. He's a Zambian citizen, and I understand that he's a leader of Zambia's biggest opposition party. So he wanted to fly from Lusaka to go Kuchitiro. It's a very sad situation. He was stopped at the airport. They told him he could not fly to Ndola to mourn his member. Bamukanya. The airspace on the Copperbelt is closed. The other day when there were shootings in Lusaka, personally, I did mention to our people, what is happening in Lusaka, the shooting as a result of President Lungu, is the one who directed those policemen to shoot and kill innocent civilians. And then, of course, there's been this thing about him assigning Kanganja, Honorable Kanganja, to make changes to the police command. There will be no changes to the police command. The reason is it is not the police that need to change. It is the president that needs to change. And the president pretended as if he had changed for a few days. Today, we have seen a return to confusion and nonsense. They say now that the Zambia Air Force decided to close the airspace on the Copperbelt to prevent Hakainde Hichilema from going to the Copperbelt. Now, I am not saying, and I've always said it, my fellow citizens, even Patriotic Front, PF, listen to this. There is no reason why Hakainde Hichilema cannot fly to the Copperbelt. There is no rational reason why he should be prevented from flying to Ndola in order to go to a funeral in Kitwe. President Edgar Lungu and Mr. Hakainde Hichilema both live in Lusaka. They share this. No mwela bapema omowine wa mu Lusaka. Na amenshi banwa. Unless Lungu bala chisako import amenshi from Petaoke nangu from Malawi, teti tuishibe. But what we know is na amenshi banwa yamoyene from the same streams under Lusaka. No mwela bapema umuine uwa mu Lusaka. And they live very close by. Tepatariyo, a few kilometers. Lusaka is a very small city. Nangu mwafulamamo, it's a very small city. How come then that Hakainde Hichilema tete aye kukitwe mukulosha a member of his political party? How does that make sense? And then we said it the other time, the president has bought military-grade equipment for the Zambia police. It was used on that day when they shot innocent people in Lusaka. But that same military hardware was being used on the streets of Kitwe today as the UPND was burying their member. May his soul rest in peace. They were using the same military-grade equipment, tankers, on the street of our country, bought by Kaloba to harm and threaten our people. That is what it is. Some of that military hardware, it's military ambulances. Nafimanda fyakwe bati nga bakuipaya nokukutola bakutola bakubika na muri chimanda chabo bayakushika. This is the kind of militarization of the police that we have seen. It was there in Kitwe. The airspace around the entire Copperbelt was all closed. You could not pass a private aircraft on the Copperbelt. This is completely nonsense. Is it the Zambia Air Force's force? No. No. This is not the Zambia Air Force's fault. This is President Lungu's action. He's a dictator. He wants to be a dictator. There is an alternative. If President Lungu is unwilling to govern this country as a democratic country, then he should excuse himself. Somewhere, but he cannot govern a democratic nation with this kind of mentality where he says Hakainde Hichilema cannot fly to Ndola so that he drives to Kitwe uweya mukulosha mukushika member wabo. Nomba wina Kristu wa msangushani. Bantu chira wushuku kateka balepo stama verses, love one another, do unto others what you would love them to do unto you. Nomba nishite tibasumini shishomu nabo Hakainde Hichilema anine kwendeke aye kundola pakawata aye kuchitiro chakwa member wako. Efyo ndandiro okobati mulemu mutima telesa wabamo iyo ni satana. Bantu ululu pato lwa musango oyo telu pato lwa lesa yo lupato lwa satana olu. Ngani finsha lufyani yo muntu a citizen of our country. Kanshi noku bomfyako fyo mumulu mumwino mulwerele ati fyakwe akana Lungu. Ati can't share the same airspace na Hakainde Hichilema. Kanshi iriende ke ba ireshta Zambia Air Force iriende ke bashta Gulfstream $200 million. It's not enough that yamanone ya game for them for wino yamanone balefuwa ngabali muri iriende na mumulu mwine tabalefuwa ya ma problems na ma disturbances yakwa Hakainde Hichilema tabalefuwa ya yo balefuwa ngabale umfuwa manone in the air barifye beka Hakainde Hichilema nangu Hakainde Hichilema nani nendeke yakwe aleya ati no, he doesn't want to. This is serious. Elo nomba mulande ati yo mkwai tuikale fye. We can't talk about these things. Ngara kutila mwewe na Zambia mulefu okumusalo oyu nakairi mu August muka musalefye bwino ayin Lungu lelo tufure tuwamyeba umuchirorere nga mwamusala teti tumifisa ifwe iyo ukweba ati Lungu echo tatamfishe abantu abeba mu buteko bwakwe nicho banwa nankwe balya nankwe nokwiba kwine beba nankwe echo teta batamfishe nichiteta kontolwele bwino efere chita KCM nicho uwapere oko batachite control KCM munankwe miringo Lungu ewapere atare mune senda KCM ichitanayo ifyo lefu oko chita nomba tule yipusha nifinshi fire chitika wafya bulipo hapa. So nomba tete tuikale fye ifwe kanshi $10 mwebe na Zambia mwebe na mirenge chiwe mpala kuchingoloko na kunchanga kukasompe na kukapisha tufire tuwa $10 bwena pako baba neryo mukalasala muikala ndate tatuwa myebere iyo insto Yesu te kusala pantu one man one vote chiramuntu na ine one man one vote nomba muikala ndate tatuwa myebere ukweba ati umwine wa Honeybee munango wako Lungu umwine wa Elias fire trucks munango wako Lungu umwine wa vyonse vile chizika confusion munango wako Lungu bonse ababeba abalele ngoko bati mwebe miti mufipatala banankwe toa myeba mwikala ndati yo mugwai tuwali mifishire tuwa mifisako fembi ififie nefi teti tumifise aleni bane obeti nkonde leteni awo obeti epo mudi awo bwaira ba obeti kwati na bazenda yangu tata mai aleni bane leteni Elias amutishani. I can see some Anne Kondowe. Apart from the mines issue, what is being done about the fake stupid condoms with the fake medicine? Anne Kondowe, sure we want so unfair. Aye, kwena mwandini. Imagine fake condoms. Alanachi people. Because when we in government yako pera condom. Government. Aiti mune bomfia kwa condom. Kanshi it's fake mwe. Elo yo wa mamanya no mamanya atinako ata condom we bampera kubute atulungu ampera condom nala ibomfia bako bati ni rwala nangu ni pere fumo kanshi it's fake mwe amalwere yaingira nefumo lyaingira using fake condoms. This is a crime. Buje kanshi teti bachitako film fia fake film. Imagine even condoms. I'm a condom. They are fake. It's very sad. It's very sad. You tell them what good are they doing for us, Zambian? What good are they doing for us? The Fimwanko is seeking bunch of idiots. Banora, yo, to be na Christo, that we tell them what they are idiots. I'm how am I mwe? The question be that my idiots, yo. But inete tindande okuba my idiots lelo imwenga yakutira mwalanda ninshi teti michinjo okuba muilanda my idiots le ine nebo shima pepo nshilande efyo yo. Enough is enough. This administration doesn't care about us. No, they don't. President Lungu cares about himself. Elo no mevivya kulanda dio kateka teshiba. Kateka aleshiba. Fionse aleshiba. Ne findela andalelo. Vala ishiba. Vala umfwa. Kula baba beba. Na transcript ya fiondela anda. Aba nandi. Mubuteko. Bala taipa bwino. Na fao yandi. Bali kuata. So kanshuku umfwa. Fionse file chitika kateka aleshiba. Nombo wafia wakwe bati ififile teka balungu tefyo bateke chalo yo. And we shouldn't settle for less but yo if you know if chaba. No, there is a better plan. There is a better vision. There is a better way to inspire our country. There is a better way to rule this country. Better way. There is. First, kule kokuiba. 1, 2. Kutamfia baleiba. 3. You don't know that to feed them monsenga. You must be a very stable ukushipa, you know. Kakwabo wafia wa shipa. Not the first reaction that you have is kutuma kwaba nobi ukuya iba. No. No. Others probably are STIs and STDs. Ever chidi. Umuntu mwinata asesha alina comfortable evere ndesesha pantu ninkwata atina kwata makondomu asesha iyaba kanshi otuswende bola nevyashara vyaingira chibizana ero nango alwala bola eyo ngaya kuchipatala taba mupera umuti no muti wine bala mupera taposhe tuswende nagasere nemi diji netakodi kanshi ni double kuipa ya bantu double kuka Erorero tuise tulanda ati yo mkwai chirifie mwino iyo tefio bateke chalo efi aren ba Rose mweba kwesu
mulishani mkwai
lete Elias
echo ndefu afyo kulanda ko kuli bakateka besu balungu bakwate koluse ku bantu because if you ever balechita that's not right. Tetuwakanye omuntu okupita mu mulu, omulu wapangirelesa. Elo2, abantu mumone ku Zambia balifula. Like for me here in United States, kuli COVID nomba mufipatala nga tamuli omuti. Fwe bakwata abantu besu. Kumansa, kwa matanda, kwa kunda mfumu, kuchembe. Baya kuchipatala tamuli omuti. Walungu. I'm crying right now. I feel so sad because vena vale mwana fye pakuwama kwabo ukuyimwena palwabo tabale tontonkanya ku bantu aba babikire mulya mu office nangu indeke bale endamo yako bati he can watch whatever he wants to do. It's very sad, and usually fwe bana kashiri mikutu waeba ko mulume balume bandi tefyo bachitefi. It's very sad and shame to the president and in abantu bonse abale umfwako nangu abale tamba. I think bakwate ko oluse balungu because ku Zambia takwa befya kulya, takwa ba malaiti, takwa ba menshi nomba abantu ninsoka balaikala shani. For me, I feel so sad and I just want to cry because nalikwata abantu bandi. Elo bale amukusensa nyempia bale kano ukubike efintu ifituntulu muchalo. No makwala ikala kwisa tulea kwisa bale
ko I agree. Naumfa Baros. I agree mkwai. Wafya obubwine. Nomba ichalo ngefifine mulelanda. Ichalo nachipia. Ichalo tachikwete olupia. Abakwete fyolupia ni balongo. No kubachia kuchirira bombwe. Bachira kaika fyolupia kuli bana market. Alamwandi ndi bana market. Na ine. My family, in family yabana market. Kuchiwe mpala. I have my relatives pa Tuatasha market, pacha wanyama market. Na pachiwe mpala market. So na tumfuati balongo na balete olupia oluingi sana bale kaika fye. Of course, kupoka nokulia. Nimpia shesu. Shachalo. No, but that is the kind of recklessness with President Lungu. Tabale posa kwa manoko wa miechalo yo. Walefa fyo kula iwa mishafiveka. Na umfa Baros Mwandin. Ubo kali mule umfwa. Ebu kali ubo bonse Muzambia vale umfa. Ebu kali tule umfa. No, but tatufuire tu achita despair okobati. There is nothing we can do about it. Let's continue talking to the people of Zambia. Bonse. Okubalondo lwera bwino. Aba kumongu, kukasama, kupeta uke, kuchipata, ku Livingstone, kalomo, konse kulia. Kubalondo lwera. Ukweba ati, tabale eteka bwino yo. Tabale eteka bwino. But there is another issue of defective syphilis testing kits, and the government is refuting the claims. Yeah, Nama defective. Everything is defective, fiancé. It's very sad. Eno tekulanda titakudi indalama iyo. Indalama na bakongola bwino epo shirisha kushtemiti. But no, they wouldn't buy it. Wafia. Patmos. Lete Elias.
Boss. Nsara fe muno muzambi.
Insaraye.
Na wachitobu barungu. Nabona meni. Kaya baretse bayiba baturetire iyo bakwita mu voters card mufode number 3 pokeni karashide kandi misonko shesi vote fe basonke barara taraishe kuvote ngachana makayenzi tubabombere kana ifu bayi tubombera bwakare ubunga na budura we produce maize local but ubunga na budura
ichikakala Patmos kwamba kokweba kwaba neno mwamona ukubalondololo okobati obubuchushu it's not ubuchushu ulengere natumwishi babwino ayin
natumwishi bakaya they pretend as if they don't know what is underground barachita pretend kwata beshe for bade mu government.
Yeah, thank you. Valaban Musonda dete nilia shtumfu
shani kana besa
wino mwapolen
awe twapola ifwe
lete nilia mulikui
hapa tuli ku Kitwe
achani ku Kitwe oko na tumfuati indeketa shi atina besala
ifo twatidabwa vyobati vakateka weso vavesa idukana losha vavatemu kwa wesoku but panyuzi apa twamona vakateka vacha kuma luvamba maini uku but nishi valefiriro kwevati avana avo vengachita efo valingiro kuchita because vena vachiakuria for political gain and ifwe vatfiro kwevati twingesa loshisha tapamo twashika avakalamba vesu avatushire. And my other contribution is we shouldn't be living like this charo chezu cha Zambia cha muntu wonse and tatfire chava segregated kwevati kanofeva ruling party evafire fe valechita geni and then avashara takuri muneni mucharo chesu muri nsala lintwa avafyashi vasata vafuire icharo tacharifi icharo nachisela dola tayari pali 20
awe laba msonda mwande na I agree with you. I agree with you tafiweme. Ama freedoms kuba fair for everybody. Kainge Zambia tapali mwine ati it's your personal property. Nangu balungu lesa abatolere fe kuchawama uko bale kolo lutuku balungu bali ni ba lawyer but bale no lutuku na ma picture nabo bale no nabo bonse po baba elo lesa asa abatola okuvuma kuchawama uko bale no lutuku abatola mufikulo afya lutuku na mumifolo ati sotekeko nomba chiriya batambo okuteka abati yo weresa echiyo ichinde iliyo ndeteka nomba nabo mwine wa Zambia yo lesa levo kuimyako umbi ukufuma kufikulwa fya katata mwamona vena bafumine kufikulwa fya lutuku nomba lesa alevo kuimyako bambi kufikulwa fya katata nango katubi nabo batekeko pantu lesa amupera akafulwa titeka nomba vena tabareteka bwino yo batambo kokula kani yo munabo mwebena Kristo kaidi umunabo ati abomfye kofye umwera achite kofe fly mumulia achite landaye kuchitiro ati teti wise kokondi niwelesa mamona abantu efe baba chiraba fika kukitwe bala balesa Vambo kukumbwendeke pali neba. Nomba after baba perendeke yo nomba ero barandazi kanshinangu ndi mumulo. Nshire fwaye chongo. Tabale fwaye tumo bapita nomu nabo na bena pitemo iyo. Tefyo bateke chalo. Mweba ume imwenga mwanaka tamulefu okuteke chalo kanshi fume excuse yourself. Tuwike pobambi. Ero, if you go at tatuwa kwata enough capabilities to alikwata. We have enough people who can run mines, who can run companies, who can run everything. Ne chalo chini to alikwata people who can run. Ero tukabika pona nkwenga afirwa na okumufumia hapo atingale no vechitashani. Fumapo. Okufumia hapo ababa atula tuwabane. Bayi batitula tuwakane. Everybody inkongole kuli bakongola tuive ichuma cha isati tula ngale tuwabane twakane tupaka mebena abere bega bayo every chitikana kuli Honeybee kanjita mwamwishi bomwine wa Honeybee shambulumbuleshina bantu nokutamba nawo wine alantamba emwine wa Honeybee nefi mioto kaensha kanshi mkwai ni mioto kashakuiba amano ya mwena ya balungu ya manone no kudemfwa na yo wino yo mwine wa Honeybee na wo wine waila abantu tabakwete emiti achibata abantu nabakwate emiti mufipatala chiwe mpala clinic ngatatule irishanya yo na chawoma clinic ngatatule irishanya no kwirishanya ngatule and no it's okay Nomba imitita mudi ama condom ya fake condoms fiance fyo ama gloves they are all fake saluchirufya kabwalala in plain daylight areiva and it's okay. Yeah, alabofya sana strong chingumbe mwamoneka kwa namsenda muli live mulefo kuba live nangja ale nete ni dia shtu
timvela bosi wanga chalo chathu kuchiyenda apa tili problem ekulu maningi
manje
apa so
kambani
tisalasha kuno kukaoma kwese province kuno so far tili problem ise ndisema wekazi ba ku BHL apa so far i road kuli confusion road from Kasempa to Kaoma route ya mazinga BHL kisha transport kopa wa mapeleka ku Namibia huko kupeza kat government na eve yangenamwa apa so far abantu bambili baluzinga ma jobs kuno muone people are now suffering bachoka manchito wonse weza ku roads baje bachoka chifukwa cha government sifuno kamba vintu bamene vichitika straight pakuti bantu apweze mwe bankalira so far i yadi yakaoma baja benze pa nchwanga mpaki muja wonse basi manchito bambili yasira bakamba no we are just looking forward up to the government we are just in the hands of the government to give us the final say to say we can continue using this road otherwise i road taleka tipita huko bae titabwa government yatu mwandi ni vintu vinangu
mwandi vamene mukamba ba strong chingumbe nivazoona vintu sivili bwino iyayi chaipa maningi manje imwe ba chingumbi muchitepo chintu chimozi nale kokola nde chinyanja kuti watukana so muchitepo chimo ba strong chingumbe ayin kweba kwaba neno ukweba ati ifire teka balungu tefyo bateke chalo iyo simwamene I got it mwamene balungu baretekere chalo simwamene iyayi mubauze kuti bareke naleka Wiseman mpuzu shako do you speak Nyanja?
Yeah, I do not that much, but I do speak.
Kambani mchinyanja timvele.
Let me just use this same language I've used.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Yeah. The thing which is happening in Zambia, I think it is something which is very sad and something which is very emotional. The issue of Honeybee, it's a pity we Zambians, we are the people who are about 70% coward. Because the issue of Honeybee, for me, if it was in some other country like South Africa, Honeybee this time would have been closed by the citizens themselves. If the police, the leaders can't act, because the leaders, they are the thieves we have. Why should we wait for the thieves to catch their fellow thieves? If the police who was shot can be taught to investigate themselves, which means there is no system. So for me, I was hoping that us, the youth of this country, would gang up and go to Honeybee, close Honeybee, tell the minister or the minister of health to resign by force if he can't resign by his moral. If he can't be fired, we need to start forcing such kind of things.
No, I think the best thing is to continue talking about it. And the issue is really one thing. President Lungu can't fire Chitalu Chilufya. No. He can't fire any thief.
No, he can't. That one we know.
That's the thing. So the only thing that the Zambians can do is that in August, fire the thief.
That one we are ganged up for that one we are not going to spare. Even God himself, we are start preparing our incoming president. Because if you can see the analysis of what happened previously, when this thief took over government, the land were not available. There were droughts in each and every part of this country. It was the punishment. But immediately when he has seen that it is the last year for him to leave, lands have come. We have got a lot of land, which means God is preparing for that farmer to come and show these thieves how to rule Chalo. If you
Thank you. Wiseman, very insightful. Thank you very much. At the sign of the rains, according to Wiseman, it's a sign of Teresa, another farmer to come and farm. Nomba. oyo wine ngaisapo nawo wine atampa kokuchitefya madongo kochitashati nawo komufumyapo. And Wiseman says that 70% are cowards in Zambia. I don't think so. I think Zambians are quite courageous. That's why in my must column, I write for the must every Thursday. I said it's difficult to create a long-standing dictatorship, no matter how much you try in Zambia, because Zambians talk too much. So Wiseman, continue. Your efforts, what you are doing by talking, by speaking out, is helping our country. Don't underestimate that. You know, particularly you people in the lion's den. In the lion's den or the den's lion. You are the true heroes. If forever you could tell you, at least you could tell you, can you do landa wasabaira. Now we shvati, number imwebali right in the lion's den. Den's lion. You are the real heroes. I commend you. That's why we people that are living very far should not betray you by remaining silent. Silent. I get the courage from people on the ground. Now, I'm not on the ground. It's okay. Because I get courage from the people on the ground that are standing up to this regime, telling them off and telling them nimwe bakerenka kanshi fyo balungu bachirachita kuchitira bombwerero fyabukerenka nefyo barechita post pa Facebook apalero fyonze fyabukerenka bofi. And it's you that are on the ground that give us the courage. Nomba ero ifo tuika lefe kunoko tari ati yo mkwai no tufure tule mchita support people that are on the ground na ifo fwe refu mina mumwela from the air. Now, if we are playing a small role until God gives us, if it is His wish, through the people. Thank you, wise man. But keep up the good work. Yeah. Chisumpa. Epomodi.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. I think Stanley Chilambe. Lete Niliash. Amtishan.
Man. Yeah, super. I'm currently living in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And reading what I read and seeing the videos, and I'm following. I follow you. I follow a lot of Mwevantu news and all that. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that you have a government that cannot lead. You have a president. Yeah. Basically, in here in South Africa, most people speak of our president as a drunkard. That's embarrassing. So everyone is attributing all this negativity that is coming out of our country because our president is a drunkard. Oman Lusambani gangster. Those are the kind of people who are leading our government. I can tell you now, Wasata. This is not what he envisioned for our country.
Yeah.
This is not. When I went in 2014 in Lusaka, I drove through Livingstone to Lusaka. I was amazed at the development, at everything that was happening. Come to 2020, Copperbelt, a Zambian cannot fly.
Yeah.
This should be happening to us who are living in South Africa. We should be speaking of xenophobia, not in Zambia where
and you can't. Stanley Chilambe, I agree with you. Imagine at the notice here in Bachpela HH that you can't fly. It says foreign aircraft can fly into Ndola, but in Deke Yako HH from Lusaka, it can't go to Ndola. It can't go to Kalulushi. At the airspace is covered. Mwamona if it's taba pompwe, Bakerenka. They begin abusing the military. I have no problems with our Zambia state security agencies. No. Zambia Army, Zambia Air Force, Zambia Police, all this. It matters who the commander-in-chief is. So commander-in-chief tuwako hata, ni uli wako batali kwa tolupato, no lufiengo. Nichi pante. Bachisa vefia madongo. So nombomu na wati, aye ko Copperbelt kuchiriro. At no, you can't. And we stay quiet and silent. Kenneth Kaunda in his 40s, in his 30s, in his 20s, he started fighting Abasungu to have the freedom for every Zambian. Ukuyoko alefwaya, umwina Zambia. And you don't need a reason. Umungulu fekutu wai mawai, yanga nikuchipata kulia wai, ano umungulu. Because umungulu is part of the constitution. It's protected. No mbalelo muntu ayeko kuchiriro mukulosha, mukushika. At no, you can't. And if we remained quiet, nishi tuatuka kaunda, tuatuka kapwepwe. Napa alala nkumbula napopeni nishi tuachitashani, chimono koba tuwaya chita disekreta pa alala nkumbula. Freedom fighters. Ukobati tusumi no kobati the Zambia Air Force can tell a citizen of our country that citizen cannot fly to the Copperbelt. Nishi independence yanshi. Tuleika la kwana kali monifidi ya basungu wa mabunu na ma-colonialists batu tekere mfine. During colonialism, you had to get a permission from umusungu. Ukwenda ko. From Mongo to Sesheke. Kano umusungu akusuminisha tikaviye. Ukukumana konaba nobe babiri ati munwe lutuku. Kano umusungu akusuminisha. If you are 3 of you, kuisa mukumi katata unlawful assembly. Eko afuma this nonsense of unlawful assembly. It's from colonialism. Pantu abasungu, tabalefwa yokoba tawena kaunda na nkumbula na kapwepwe, they organize for independence. That's why abasungu baishireretako the Public Order Act to stop and control the natives. Nombo wafya wako watinangwe kaunda umulomo. Asa ateka akonkani yapona Public Order Act. Na chiluba wine bari konkani yapona Public Order Act. Nomba chemone kakonda kalimona balungu bene na abakonkani yapo with the Public Order Act in violation of the Constitution of Zambia. Not anymore. If we remain silent, it's like independence had no value. Why should we go and celebrate independence on the 24th of October if one of our citizens can be stopped? Ukunina kofie indeke yakwe. Katuishinoko wafumishe ata ashime kui kodi aba mwashime ko ndeke yaka ende hichire mata bomfieko anine ndeke. Aye kukitwe kuchiriro. Ero ba mukani na balungu atiwe tetuise kokuno, tetuise pandwe konde. Yo, chalo chako anoko. Okay, nango chalo chako anoko. Nishina nina wako HH na wewe ni chalo chakwe. So kanjikuba ve fair. Let us just be fair. Mueve na Kristo kaidi. Mueve na Kristo. A Christian nation. Chila bushikuna muika taula ma Bible. Ukushente kareza. Ukuimizana Bible at your Bible. Le lole salando kwa the love one another. And let HH aye kona ina Copperbelt that no. Mwamu itira fi manda. Ready. HH. Mwamu itira fi manda with military grade tankers, nemfuti, rifles, and bombs and tear gas, ready to kill. At nichi turei paira, at you can't come no kuchita mix on the Copperbelt. Patriotic Front friends, this is not right. Even if it were HH in power, LWH tefi kuri lungo, ngatula mulanjirako. If HH becomes president, we want to keep the integrity of our country. Nora, so my grandmother Julia, chimono kufula mama Julia chikamoneka. if we remain silent, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, she fought colonial powers. One woman. But district commissioner, ukuyaba fulira, ati lero muwala muno mupamba, because mule chusha abantu. Mama Julia Chikamoneka. That's why her name is Mama Julia Chikamoneka. Chikamoneka. Ever mule chusha abantu mwatu chusha pa fulana ala mifulira. Mirangisho mupamba. Mama Julia Chikamoneka. Elo imwe na ine tuikale fye ati yo mkwa ichiri fye. Chimono kuya sakama te pamputa ya kwa Mama Julia Chikamoneka. We can't allow this. Thank you very much. I think to Alanda 1 hour 20 minutes. So we got 10 more minutes. Equal 9. And I'm wondering, Kulabat, why don't you make your things short? What if you have a shiny short? We are losing a lot of pantino instam firenishinde panga kolupia. No, but we are here. We are not wasting time because we are teaching the country to lay Sambirisha. Today is ambitious. If you're too late. Atikwachiva imiembia kunokukitwe. Zambia currently feels like we are at war. That's the thing. Okay, why should our country feel like it's at war? Why should Zambia feel like we are at war? Why should the Zambia police be given my equipment bakwete? Why? This is serious. This is serious. Vachisumpa. Are you there?
Hello, I'm there. Therefore, ukulanda kufia pali fia ZAF closure of airspace Copperbelt na mines ayen. Okay, first, let me start with the mines. What President Nung was writing about mines, I know we won't allow foreigners to exploit our mineral wealth, blah, 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 blah. Come on, he allowed all these things to happen in the past 5 years. Now to have come 2021, that's when he has realized that foreigners are exploiting us over my minerals. Where was he all this time to speak out? Might have come 2021. Does it mean that he wants to capitalize on, he wants to use it as a campaign rhetoric to show that he's also concerned? Come on. I think Zambians should not be deceived. We know these things. We are in 2021. Then about ZAF closure of airspace, what is happening? These people, State House and New Kasama, where HH comes from, are just 7 kilometers apart in Lusaka. How do they coexist in Lusaka? And what's wrong with them that they can be in the same town, Copperbelt? They can't be in Ndola. The police now at all the roads, Copperbelt, Lungu will be using them at the same time. As in, how can this thing, like, really, no airspace closed for 3 days? I think these are, if we don't stop this as Zambians, we are going to see these things happening in campaign time, right during campaign time. Lungu and Hichilema won't be in Chipata at the same time because the president is going to Chipata to campaign. There's no such a thing. Come on.
No, Chisumpa, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you because it really does not make sense, this thing of closing the airspace, the entire Copperbelt. Ataka in the Hichilema cannot be on the Copperbelt. State House and New Kasama is no mwela bapema umwene. Same. Umwela. Ngalakuchira omuntu alamfya somewhere. No, they can smell the same thing. They are neighbors. Chipanda chimuchine, they are neighbors. No, but how come at 30 when they gonna mumwela when going to the Copperbelt? This is unfair. It's not right. First of all, it's wrong constitutionally. No, but no winner Christopher, it's not right. Over mines, of course, it's not true if you at foreigners. Which foreigners? The problem has been the Patriotic Front. So to resolve that problem, program to tighten the controls along the chain of production and export. That is a plan. But because he can't act at Ministry of Health, there is no assurance. Each kwanka, bachmwena kumampalanya. Each kwanka, emchaush. Bachmwena kumampalanya. So, balungu nga bafiru kukontolola chitaluchirufia. Bushe, kuti bakontolola shani ama maini. Balefiru kukontolola ama maini. Nicho, na bafiru kukontolola nani, chitaluchirufia. Na Honeybee. Umunabo, umwine wa Honeybee ulia. Over pele $17 million contract. Okuchita supply ama condom aya tulika. Nama gloves. Omuntu umwine ya seshati. Ati lero filifye bueno. Bola bola ya ingira. Because of 17 million Honeybee contract. Elo balande lelo ati is going to control ama mines. No. Balungu badifirwa. Na bapelelwa. Amaka na mano fiapela. Kuba funyapo. August. Epela. Ifivyo baere mkweba bena chingola. Bofi. Sakuimba. Tabaripo. Joseph.
Hello.
Hello, Joseph. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm getting you.
Yes, please. Alan, what do you say about what is happening?
First of all, I would say it's a question that I can ask these guys. Do they use brains to think, or there is other material that they put in the brains to think? Because you know, it's so disturbing when I hear the so-called professional leaders that have gone into further studies to study, they have degrees, they have diploma, whatever qualification they have to be on those higher levels. They should reason so well such that us who are just like, you know, behind them, we should not even question them. Because the issue of Honeybee and the issue of supplying condoms, Rufado, those things, they need to be professional, you know. How many people use medication in Zambia? How many people use condoms, including those that are infected and affected, you know? How many people are doing that? And yet these people, they knew that, okay, what we've done is illegal, and they go forward and just keep quiet just because of their corrupt minds, you see? So I was so shocked to hear that. It's a shame, in fact. We feel ashamed as Zambians. And looking at the issue of HH, like, he's just a human being like us. They shouldn't treat him as if he's an alien. No, he's a human being. Because they say we should be one Zambia, one nation, and yet they are creating a pit circle for him, such that he can't express himself in any way. Like, I felt so sad to see him like on a Zoom morning, whatever, video chat. It's a shame.
It's a shame. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Joseph. It's quite a shame. But there is definitely something we can do as the people of Zambia. Definitely. There is definitely something we can do as the people. And so I would encourage that we do something about it. Sakwimba, what do you have to say? Okay, Sakwimba is not there. This has been 1 hour 29 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes. We've got to go Pokowati to Wombe Kopanono. I take what I do here very, very seriously, but I have another job. So I've got to go there and try to attend to a few matters. Because the reason why I get involved in Zambian politics is because in Shakwatefi, and so the whole reason why I get involved is because it will be a betrayal to Mama Julia Chikamoneka if we allowed this kind of confusion to go on and say that, no, we were so busy making money in Canada as lawyers that we did not attend to the issues that were happening in Zambia. When the government of Zambia supplied substandard condoms, we remained quiet. At Mwalikuisa, and no, we were busy making money in Alberta. Lesa tagatemwe. No, but on the day of judgment, when the day comes, what were you doing? No, I abandoned a few things I was doing to make money. I abandoned it. Pakowati ndandire kwa abantu abo bapera makondom ayarepuka. Amakondom yabofi. Baba pera abantu amakondom yabofi. And they use them, bola bola yaingira, akaswende, kaingira, akasere, kaingira, na yambya malwere yacha omene chana kashi. Yaingira. By this recklessness of the government. For how much? $17 million. Bena bapa kama banonka. Presidential Empowerment Fund, akasaka kafula, kakula. Basekera mo. Nefi myoto kabe neba Honeybee. Mwarifi monefi bensha. Nefi bashitira madam. Efi myoto kabashitira madam. Nimpia shakwi awabe neba Honeybee. Noko beshiba mwari beshiba. Nefi myoto kandela ndabo mwari fishiba. Ididi yashidi kaya. Ero nomba tulanda tiyo mkwa ifwe tuwarapo safia manu muku pangolo pia. Ama dollars kuno tuwaikala kufialo fia basongo. Azama lawyers wa basongo. Tupose fia mano muku bombe la basongo pakobati tupange olu pia. That's selfishness. We must sacrifice. There are so many Zambians that are sacrificing their reputation. Because ukushoba fielungu Mzambia, it affects your reputation. Bambi, ukuchisafi expose corruption. It's costing them. Bambi, it's costing their careers. They're sacrificing a lot. Sometimes it's family and friends. And if we were to change, now we change, but I can also invite that iwe because ulashoba kateka kawarara. They are sacrificing a lot. We cannot sacrifice a little bit of dollar here in order to speak for the people of Zambia. Abwabo bapere ama condom, fake condoms. Imagine mufikulu wa vyabwalwa katuishifi chitika moine njaishiva because kwena shifikako kufikulu wa vyabwalwa panto ninepente neshima pepo. That way, so tatufikako kufikulu wa vyabwalwa nomba imwe. Imagine mweba ile kufikulu wa vyabwalwa elo buteko bwa mipera condom at so that taulwera amalwere no kusesha wasesha no kusansa mukawasansa mukati ati chirifye bwino kanshi fimbi fyaingira abantu baye for family planning not bakatolika iyo because bakatolika tabasumena muri family planning. Anyway, nomba aba kumachecha yambi aba pera condom at in family planning kanshi condom yaputuka yatulika umulandu wakwe bati isho bali no kushita makondom yachine baliba kuli banani. Kumunabo wabalungu. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. God bless you and God bless our country.